Go ahead and get started. Welcome to the final day of the night. So welcome to How to Build OneDrive Habits that will make users happier and more productive. My name is Kathy Feldman. I'm on the product team working on OneDrive, focused specifically on the customer lifecycle. I'll be leading us off, followed by John and Rina. Now, before we talk about the habits of a happy productive OneDrive user, we need to understand what usability is. Well, ideally, we want to be, or want our users to be, taking advantage of anywhere access in the cloud via OneDrive. We want to see them seamlessly collaborate in real time. And we want to see them leveraging the power of intelligent cloud capabilities to help them unlock their full potential to become super users. These are users that continuously impress their colleagues, not only by working harder, but by working smarter, and having their tools do the work for them. Actually, quick poll of the audience, how many of you are admins? And how many of you would consider all of your users to be super users? Expect to see the OneDrive. Great, well, for the rest of you, what we often see are suboptimal workarounds. These are habits that we develop over time that get the job done, but they may not be the most efficient or effective way to accomplish our tasks. Some examples would include, I should email myself this report for my email myself this receipt for my Ignite expense report. That's one option. Alternatively, can you resend this file? I lost it in my inbox. Or I sent my manager my report, but I can't tell if they saw it. Do any of these resonate at all in the audience? Okay, you don't have to admit it. We hear stories like these pretty frequently. And the good news is that we're continuously improving the product to try to make it easier for users to develop better habits and become those happy, productive OneDrive users that we want them to be. In this talk, we're going to be talking through 10 of these habits and showcasing a few key demos of features that we may already see added habits, maybe we already use today. Others we are super excited to be announcing as part of this talk. Now, how many of you have already been to at least one OneDrive session during this Ignite?
Nice.
So if you see any features that you are particularly excited about, I want you to share extra loud for those of you see them come up. There's one benefit of being on the final day of Ignite. Now, before we jump into our first habit, we need to make sure that these are set up and ready the best way to work. You can't start working out in a gym until you have a gym membership, and you can't start being a super productive user in OneDrive until you're set up and ready to roll. To do this, we're going to step into the shoes of a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed user, who has a bunch of questions right off the bat, such as, what is OneDrive? What can I use it for? And how should I get started? Now, how many of you have gotten support tickets from questions as simple as these? Okay, that's helpful. We hear about these pretty frequently, and we're continuously improving new user education and in-context messaging so that users have these questions answered right when they need them. To illustrate this, I'm going to switch over and walk us through the new user experience on the web. Wonderful. Now we know that many users do start their OneDrive journey on the web, so that's what we're going to show you. Now, if you're familiar with the new user experience, you know that many users will start here and then immediately proceed into their OneDrive, where they'll be greeted by the provisioning experience while their OneDrive is being set up. They will be then dropped into their files view. But I am pleased to announce that we have a brand new redesigned provisioning experience that leverages the power of Microsoft Track to bring a personalized, modernized experience. Let's take a look at what that looks like. We're a little bit of emergency Wi-Fi here. But what we'll be greeted by is the user's photo, name, company, all being presented to them right away. This helps establish the connection between you and your OneDrive. This takes a while to load. I actually have another window of it preloading as well. So as users are being introduced to OneDrive, it's important that they understand that we are trying to work with them and understand their needs. Here it is. Hello. Now, we understand how massive of an improvement this is. Again, we're greeted by a photo, so I understand this is my OneDrive, and this is working for me. We have a couple of lightweight questions right up front, and here I'm going to go ahead and respond to it and say that I'm an engineer, and I'm particularly interested in real-time collaboration and Office 365 version. I'll go ahead and continue forward. And I would expect to be dropping into my files to you. But instead of allowing users to stumble around and figure out the product for themselves, we're going to greet them with illustrative, welcoming, guided tour experience, as well as a light box that highlights some of the value props that OneDrive has to offer. First, we'll start with understanding that OneDrive allows you to access your files from any device, anywhere, anytime. We'll proceed forward, and to be able to hear about that real-time collaboration is super exciting and powerful about working in the cloud. Finally, we'll learn about that Office 365 integration and how OneDrive and the Office work beautifully together, even in the browser. Before we get started, and we're greeted by a beautiful guided tour. This is a lightweight teaching tool that we talked about at SPCNA, and we got a tremendous positive reaction to it. We start first with the upload step, where we want to try to have users get all of their content into the cloud and into OneDrive, so that they can start taking advantage of everything that OneDrive has to offer. Now, if John's okay with it, I'm going to go ahead and upload one of these files.
Go do it.
I'm going to upload the Investment Connect Talk After Draft to my OneDrive, and I'm learning the Wi-Fi and my ability to drag and drop on the Mac. I will be able to drag and drop that. John, can you drag it up for me?
Or we could do let's do that one, I think. Might be a little simpler.
Have I mentioned that Surface Books are very intuitive and easy to use, even for the newest of users?
There we go. It's uploading, but you're at the mercy of the Wi-Fi, so it will take a while.
Assuming the Wi-Fi we're on is we will then drop into the mobile and desktop settings guided tour. This encourages us to take advantage of this anywhere access and set up OneDrive on all of our devices. Now, for the purposes of this demo, I won't actually go through the process of setting up the different devices here, because spoiler alert, we'll be talking about that as part of our first habit. But if we had proceeded through these, we would be celebrated at each step of the journey, and then brought to the sharing step. Now this is where we encourage users to take advantage of that real-time collaboration and learn how to share files with their colleagues. We can learn how, and an intuitive instructor tutorial lets us know exactly what needs to be done and how easy it is to share your documents from OneDrive. Upon completion of all of these steps, we are then celebrated for our progress and being able to learn a number of key actions for getting it up and running in OneDrive and becoming the super productive users that we want to be. All of this happens without wasting a single moment of an admin time, without a single support ticket. So to recap, we are continuously working to make our in-product education and user experiences smarter and more helpful to help customers understand the value of OneDrive and get productive faster. Well, pro tip, we found that customers who go through this onboarding experience are significantly more engaged and satisfied with OneDrive, and they continue to use the product much more happily for longer. This is better for everyone. So now that we're no longer that bright-eyed, bushy-tailed new user, we're going to dive right in. I'm now going to walk you through 2 new habits that I hinted to earlier on digitizing your life with OneDrive. This habit is about accessing and protecting your content anytime, anywhere, and getting the most out of cloud capabilities. Now, the good news is that for habit number 1, this is all about continuing to work how you always have been, but now with new capabilities. Setting up OneDrive on your desktop makes it easy to keep working as you always have, while also getting all the benefits and peace of mind that OneDrive has to offer. Now, how many of you have users who are resistant to change? Or have said things like, OneDrive sounds cool, but I don't really want to have to learn a new way to work. We get it, and we're working to make the product work for you, not the other way around. To illustrate this, I'm going to be talking about Known Folder Move. This has been talked a lot about during this Ignite, and we know that many users want to keep storing their files locally because putting them in OneDrive is too much work. But now, with this feature Known Folder Move on OneDrive Desktop, we make it easy to migrate all of your content from your desktop, documents, and pictures to OneDrive easily. Once you start this protection, you can see that your desktop, documents, and pictures folders are all in OneDrive, and you can continue to work with them on your desktop as you always have been.
The benefits here, of course, include anywhere access and the peace of mind knowing that if anything happens to your device, your files are safe. Another reason to set up OneDrive on your desktop is the Files on Demand feature, which this Ignite we just announced that is available on Mac. Files on Demand allows you to store all of your content in the cloud and access files as needed on your local device. This is all without taking up a single byte of unnecessary disk space. You can notice there that your files are exactly where they always have been, except for now you notice that they are also in OneDrive, and notice the icons that indicate that they are protected with that OneDrive value. You can see here that Contoso has 1.4 gigs of content, but it's only taking up 9.3 megs on your computer. Amazing. This is particularly useful for those admins who are worried about network traffic. To recap here, you can protect your files, save space, and enjoy peace of mind using OneDrive, all without changing how you work. Quick pro tip here, it's easy to get all your content into the cloud and keep working as you always have been, but you can make it even easier for your users by setting up group policies so that they're already set up and ready to rumble on OneDrive, all without seeing any of this setup UI. So now that you're set up on your desktop, the second habit is all about saving time while on the go and leveraging the power of your mobile device. The world is changing, and more work happens while on the move. Luckily, we're continuously working to improve OneDrive to match this increasingly mobile-first world. Now, how many of you are planning to expense at least one meal while at Ignite? As are we. Now, my old habit for this, because I had a separate device for my work phone, I would take a photo of the receipt, I would email that to myself, I would go back to my desktop computer or my laptop, I would then save that onto my computer and attach that to my expense report or send it to anyone else that I dined with. We can do better than this. And also, you can sometimes save that embarrassing moment where you forget to do that and your other coworkers are a little bit peeved with you. To do this, I'm going to demonstrate a much more efficient way to accomplish this while you're on the go, all with OneDrive. I'm going to switch to my mobile device here, which is an Android device with OneDrive already installed. Now, if you'll notice here, I'm in my Files view, but I have a folder created called Diego Receipts. In this case, I'm stepping into the shoes of Diego, who's a very productive super OneDrive user. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Diego Receipts folder, and I'm going to try to take a scan of my receipt. Now, if you're wondering how to do that, it's super easy. It's right by where my thumb is. This is the new, more prominent scan feature because we found that many users optimize this feature very frequently while working on the go. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that, and I have a receipt here from dinner that I'm going to go ahead and scan. Now, with the power of Office Lens, that receipt is immediately made much more legible, and I can save that as a PDF document, which allows me to highlight, interact, and engage with the text that is within this document. Yeah. In order to help me find my receipts later, I have a naming convention that I adopt here as well. So I will call this Ignite Dinner, September 27th. And as you can see, I have the save location set to Diego Receipts. I'm going to go ahead and upload this, and assuming that the Wi-Fi allows me to do so, it will drop it right into my Diego's receipt folder, where I can easily find it later. Now, this is also available, of course, on all of my other devices, where I can then go to my computer without having the extra step of extra email clutter. We already have enough email. We don't need any email coming from ourselves. Now, if I'm dining with anyone other than myself, which, as you can notice, this is a guests one situation, but if I were dining with anyone other than myself, I can go ahead and annotate this PDF using the easy annotation feature down in the bottom right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and highlight some aspects of the receipt that I don't want included in the expense report. Beautiful. And right there, it's already acknowledged in there, so it's super easy for my admin to take a look at this and say, okay, she's going to pay for her own plum wine. Now, if I want to share this, I can easily do so using the new unified sharing experience, now in mobile apps. You may recognize this because it's across all of our other OneDrive surfaces, as well as in Office. So immediately, I recognize this and know how to approach it. If I had dined with my colleague Deborah during this, I could go ahead and type her name in and send a link to this file easily and get back to my sushi dinner. This is significantly more efficient than my previous habit of how I used to approach this, thanks to the OneDrive mobile app. To recap, we've made scanning, storing, and sharing content easier and more powerful to help you stay productive, even while on the go. Inside here, we've also found that customers who leverage the power of OneDrive across multiple devices are significantly more engaged. They find more value in the product when they're able to see how effective it is to use it on their desktop, mobile, and web devices. So now that we've covered getting set up and some habits to leverage the power of OneDrive on all your devices, John will dive deeper on habits for seamlessly collaborating in the cloud. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Catherine. That habit that she showed with her phone has become a crucial way I deal with everything, including receipts, as she showed, but even things like paper bills, which I still get. I know it's 2018, but it's so easy to digitize them. It's awesome. So I'm going to make sure that we're on the fast Wi-Fi, I'm going to take 1 second and see if I can get off the Wi-Fi here and make sure that we get onto the demo one, so that we don't run into the issues on this demo. Let's see if that will work. And as we do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about better collaboration habits, as Catherine talked about. So it's something that the collaboration is such a vastly used word in the workplace that one would assume that at work, we're really good at collaborating. But the reality looks a little different. So feel free to nod along if this story that I'm about to tell resonates with a lot of you. But a lot of collaboration, especially in the last 10, 15 years, started with you at your desk working on a document, and then you would take that document and email as an attachment to someone else that you needed help. They would get the document, make some changes, and email it right back at you. You would then get that document, merge those changes, and it kind of sort of works. It's not too bad. But reality is a little bit more complex nowadays. The start point isn't that different. You're still probably at your desk. You're still probably working on a document. But you're not working with just one person anymore, right? You're working with 4, 12, many more than that. And if you are actually emailing those files to them, what happens is they email you back. And you get 10, 12, 15, 20 mails. And you're usually the one stuck merging all of those changes. This is such a frustrating experience that on our keynote on Tuesday, we had a customer on stage talking to Jason. And he was talking about this particular situation and used the term barbaric to describe the feeling and the experience for that user merging all these changes. And my favorite is not only is this slow and super frustrating, but also you get that one person. That one person after 30 minutes later than the deadline you gave them sends you, sorry, just seeing this, my comments are attached. And now you're stuck, not only frustrated, but you're also late. I think we can do better. So first of all, what Catherine showed and what we talked about at Ignite, sending links makes a lot of that process better. You work on one file instead of 20 versions of it, and it's less barbaric for sure. One way to make sure that you are working in the cloud and you are sending links instead of attachments is just being productive in the browser. For instance, we are all using business-critical apps on the web today, right? I use Outlook, Teams, and OneDrive as browser tabs. And tens of millions of users are doing the same. So first thing to get into a habit of is being productive in the user is completely OK. Not only that, we encourage it. It keeps you in the cloud, and it means less app switching. But secondly, say you're past that barbaric stage. You're no longer dealing with email attachments when you're working with 20 people. You do want to give a little bit more context, though, when you send that link to the user, because sending a link without context is like saying, hey, check this file out. It'd be much better if all those links that we got had a little bit more context. This kind of little bit of context can really help folks understand what file you're looking at and how they can help you. So let me dive in and start showing you a few of my favorite scenarios or favorite demos on using the web and being productive in collaboration. And let's see if I can actually get the password right. It's a very secure password, so it's maybe going to work. So we're going to jump in the shoes of Diego, similar to Catherine earlier. And one of the things that I want to show you is you're all familiar with OneDrive on the web. As I said, tens of millions of users are using it every week. And you probably know that you can quickly go to the new portion of OneDrive and start creating documents pretty quickly. And that's wonderful. I want to show you a new habit that I got into in the past couple of years, and that's going to office.com. The reason why I love the new office.com is not only it is a really easy way for any of your newer users to jump off to one of those Office 365 apps, but it's also a wonderful place to start working on new documents. So in this case, let's jump into a new Word file, and you'll see that I have a bunch of templates. Not only that, but Word already tells me that because I'm in the browser and we just did a new Word file, I'm already in the cloud saving it to OneDrive. In this case, I'm going to try and build an event flyer for a potluck that we're going to have at work, something we all do from time to time. And I'm going to pick the conveniently named event flyer template. This would create a document with that template in my OneDrive, private to me. And first thing I'm going to do, first habit I get into is I don't like the default names. Document is too generic of a name, so we're going to call it Autumn Potluck number 3. And what I'm going to do is, a lot of these times I know, what to call the name. It's pretty easy. I can just say potluck or team potluck, and I can actually spell it. But the other things, I might need a little bit of help. So I'm going to say we need a time and a place for this. And to get time and a place, I'm actually not entirely sure what the best time for the team is. But you know who does know that? Deborah. Deborah is so great at knowing exactly what time people are likely to show up and what place they find convenient. So normally what I would do in the olden days is send Deborah an email, go to her office, do pretty slow, inefficient things. I'm going to do something different now. I'm actually going to just leave a comment and hit the @ key. Something really powerful is happening already. You can see that I have a list of names that I can mention in this comment, and that list of names is actually not alphabetically sorted. That's because, thanks to our smart people picker that we're rolling out, the Office 365 and the graph knows exactly who the set of people I work with closely are, and it puts them right at my fingertips. So Deborah is right there, someone I work closely with. So I'm just going to mention Deborah and say, can you please help pick the best time for the team? Something really profound happens when I do this. As I said, we created this file in OneDrive, and all files in OneDrive start as private. So Deborah has no access to this file yet. And Office 365 knows that. It lets me @mention Deborah without having her access previously. And when she doesn't have access, it tells me that I can share and notify her that I have left a comment. And what she will see, now you can clap. Not only does she get access to this, and Catherine will help us play the role of Deborah today and see what happens, but what Deborah sees is something really powerful. As I mentioned earlier, wouldn't it be nice to have a little bit more context on those links that we send? In this case, Deborah will know who mentioned them, what file they're mentioned in, the comment itself, which is super powerful, a quick snippet of the context, which is my favorite part. It's the part that I selected before I sent that comment, and a link directly to the comment. So in those cases of 20-page documents, you don't have to hunt for all those little places that you were commented on. So I'm going to go back to the demo, or maybe not. Let's try it again. There. There are so many keys in here. There we go. Going back into the Word document I was on, you can see that Deborah is now in the document. This little picture of Deborah tells me that she is right in the document. Not only that, but I also see that Deborah left a comment, or a reply to the comment, and I can see when she did that. But even better, I can see her actually editing the document live. This is the power of collaboration that we were talking about, specifically around working on a single file that's in the cloud, sharing via links in a way that I didn't even have to explicitly share. I just had to mention her, and she is right in the document. So that's awesome. We're going to go back and now talk about, we started with a barbaric state. We moved off of that barbaric state to actually get sharing with links. We even got better at making this super seamless and quick by just @mentioning people, powered by the graph and the smart people picker. But let's talk about one more thing. Everything that I showed you was in Word files. And it has been a long time, like Word files had comments for a long time. But we support over 300 file types in OneDrive. And I'm very pleased to announce, and actually re-announce, because we talked about this a little bit in our keynote, that all of those familiar, powerful commenting capabilities are going to be coming to all 300 file types supported in OneDrive, as you can see in this screenshot. Now that we have collaboration going on with a bunch of people, one thing that is still really hard is, we talked about working on a document, we talk about sending it. What's still really hard is when you get all those people collaborating on a single file, they do stuff. They leave comments, they make edits, more comments and more edits and more comments. It could be pretty hard to keep up with everything that's happening on a document you care a lot about. So we have a new habit that will make it a little bit easier to keep up with what has been going on in a document that you shared. So we're back in OneDrive, and let me go to an aptly named file called Document with Changes. That is a document that I have shared. It's a long document, and if everything goes well, and it did, Office 365 will tell you what happened while you were away. Other people have been changing this file when I was not looking at it. And not only Office told me that there were new changes that I should look at, but there is a very conveniently placed Changes tab that shows you every single thing that happened since you saw this file last. In this case, when I wasn't looking at the file because I was enjoying Universal last night, you can see that Deborah has made some changes, adding this little portion. Alex has changed a tiny bit of word in here, and all of the other changes. And that list is apparently out of date because I was having too much time. Fun. But one of the most powerful things about this is no change is too small for Office to let me know about. Whether that is a bullet point that's added, whether that's a word that changed, I now can trust that Office 365 and OneDrive has my back and will tell me what exactly were changed when I was not looking at the document. Thank you. It's a really powerful way to make sure that you're feeling good about sharing your files with a bunch of people and having them make a lot of changes and you don't have to pay attention. One pro tip on this is, of course, thanks to the power of the cloud and OneDrive, even if you had to go back a couple of versions because you didn't really love those changes that others made, or maybe there was a problem, version history is there. It has your back, and you can go back pretty easily. All right, the last habit that I'm going to talk about is a pretty crucial one. It's crucial because we all have files in OneDrive. We talked about it. Millions and millions of people have that. But you all have files in other places in Office 365 as well, whether those are SharePoint lists, whether that's Teams, Outlook, groups. It is important to have a new habit, an updated habit, to know that the best, simplest, and easiest way to get to all of your files in Office 365 is to use OneDrive. Let me illustrate what I mean by that. You might have seen this in a previous talk. If you attended Eugene's talk, like all great artists imitate, I imitated by basically taking his slides and putting in here. But it's a great story to tell. Like, every user has OneDrive when they're part of Office 365. Not only that, but just like every person has a OneDrive, every team has a library. And whether you're using that library in a team site or in a team chat, OneDrive is the app that connects you to all your files across Office 365. Let me show you what that means in a simple example. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to jump to a document library to illustrate what I mean. So let's go to SharePoint real quick, and let's go to a site that has a lot of customization. So this is a strategy and planning site that Diego is part of. And if I go into one of the document libraries in this, one of the shared libraries in this team site, it's the document library. And you can see that this particular document library is really well curated. It has a bunch of metadata, bunch of custom columns, really interesting way to visualize efforts, some color formatting on project type, the whole 9 yards. To date, you might have a habit to needing to chase every single document library you're a part of, every single group that you're a part of, and go to those places to get to files. I'll show you a better way. Let's jump back into OneDrive. And what you'll notice on the left-hand side is we have all of your shared libraries that you're a part of. And let me go into strategy and planning. And first of all, you're going to see that every single document library, every single shared library as part of this team site is presented to me in OneDrive. But what's really powerful and coming really soon is the ability to see all of that custom metadata, all of that custom formatting, all of that coloring, and everything that makes a SharePoint shared library the valuable tool it is right in OneDrive. This is super powerful because now you can actually get to not only to all of your files in OneDrive, but you can get to them in full fidelity and do all of the things that you could do in SharePoint team sites right in OneDrive. So that promise that OneDrive is the one app you need to get to all your files with is realized. With everything that, with the power of Office 365 and Graph, everything is in OneDrive. So with that, Catherine covered a lot of really cool things about digitizing your life, the two habits that became habits that I've used. I've went over how to collaborate efficiently in the cloud. Rima is now going to talk about how intelligence helps us to be even better using Office 365.
Awesome. Thank you, John. My name's Rima. I'm a designer on the team, and I'm super excited to talk to you about why OneDrive is the smartest place to store your content. This is all about things working on your behalf, the graph powering awesome recommendations, and OneDrive surfacing file activity and signals on your content so you can be more productive and more efficient. So technology promised us, and AI especially, promised us that we'd be turned into superheroes, that it would augment and enhance our capabilities, and we could be the best versions of us. But we know that in reality, we're still doing a lot of manual work. We constantly need to check up on if people have seen our files, if they've even gotten our files, have they had a chance to edit it, and this constant need to follow up really takes up valuable time that we could be spending being more productive. So I'm really excited to talk through intelligence-driven habits. And this is all about things being automated, working on your behalf, so you can focus on what's important. Let's jump right into habit 7, which is another collaboration one, but with intelligence added onto the experience. So at my weekly team meetings with the design team, we often share our work and get feedback, and give each other feedback so that we can keep iterating on the product. I usually need to follow up with people to either get their files or send them mine. And we usually just do that face-to-face, but we could actually be a lot more effective. And now PowerPoint lets us. So let's look at that demo. So if I'm in a PowerPoint deck, let me make sure you guys can see that. And I'm in presenter mode.
We have so many machines.
Oh. In put 8, excellent. So if I'm presenting a deck at our team meeting, PowerPoint will shortly after I escape out of presenter mode, will prompt me to just share the presentation right away with the meeting attendees. Wi-Fi, hopefully on my side. Okay, well, luckily I have a backup. It will essentially prompt you with something like this that says, looks like you shared this file, let's help you follow up. And you can quickly and easily share with attendees. And like Catherine showed, once you click share, you'll get the common share file dialog, the common sharing dialog, where you can really quickly and easily send that right away before I even have a chance to forget. So because PowerPoint makes collaborating easier, our team can focus on actually working together and improving the product rather than needing to follow up and catch up with each other to get our content. And this capability harnesses the power of the suite because the file is in OneDrive, I present in PowerPoint, and PowerPoint recognizes an Outlook calendar invitation. So all of these three come together and optimize the way we work. Now let's jump in to habit 8, which lets me get back to work quickly. So Ignite has been great this week. That's supposed to represent this conference center, so really it should be like 30 times as wide. But when we all get back to work on Monday, we know that there's going to be a mountain of work to catch up on. And this can be really overwhelming or even daunting. But now, with recommended files, I can easily see files that are most important to me, and I can prioritize those because they're based on the way I work. So let's jump into that. And you might have seen this at the keynote as well. The recommendations are quickly loaded at the top. I get awesome rich previews and can quickly jump back into work. The reason why the recommendation is shown is easy to see at the top. I can click on a file to jump back in, or access this overflow menu to access other high-value actions. So, jumping back to the deck, this is great because the content is automatically surfaced to me and tailored to my work habits. I can start working right away and focus on what is most important and what matters most, rather than sifting around and figuring out what to prioritize on my own. Habit 9 is all about peace of mind, knowing that my peers are getting the files that I'm sharing to them. So in the past, John had a similar example. I would work on a file, wait a little bit of time, and then ask my peers, maybe through email, through a chat, or even swinging by their desk, hey, did you get that file? Hey, did you get a chance to check it out? So instead of having to do this follow-up step, I'm easily notified by OneDrive with link open receipts if my peers are getting the content that I'm sharing to them. Because doing that for every file, as John mentioned, is very tedious and time-consuming. So this new habit eliminates the need to constantly follow up with people to see if they've seen my file. So I'm going to share these meeting notes with my coworker, Emily B. And now when I send the file, I don't need to swing by Emily's office, pretend that I'm just stopping by or happen to walk by her office. I'm easily notified with OneDrive once she opens the document. So let's go into Outlook. And giving Emily B, aka John, some time.
Emily has done things.
So here we go. The link to this document was successfully used. Now with OneDrive, I don't have to follow up with Emily personally because OneDrive will just let me know. The biggest change this habit has brought about is just being confident in sharing. I know that I don't need to follow up because my peers will open files and I'll be instantly notified. Another thing we have is sharing reminder emails. So if something's sent to me and I forget to open it, OneDrive will remind me a little while later saying, hey, Emily sent something to you actually, and you haven't checked it out. So knowing that my peers are getting my files and that they're getting my file and that I'm getting theirs has really made our collaboration a lot more effective. And it's super awesome because we have some really good data showing that these sharing reminder emails are actually increasing click-through rates and file access. So last but not least, let's jump into habit 10. This is probably one of my favorites because it's super easy. It's all about efficiency. You can now simply hover over a card to get rich file insights about it. So let's look at a scenario here. When I share files, I usually want to know who's been seeing them or working on them. But if it's a file that's shared to me, I want to know how long it'll take to read or what it's even about. Like John mentioned, sometimes we get things sent to us without a lot of context, so it's great to be able to set this ahead of time. It used to be hard to get all of this type of information in just one spot. But now, with the file card, it's all aggregated really nicely in one place, and I can get a ton of rich information right at my fingertips simply by hovering over a file. Let's take a look. Okay, so let's jump back to OneDrive. And let's scroll a little. So let's take a look at the file we shared earlier. I simply have to hover to get awesome information about it, such as view information, this inside look section, which lets me get a peek at the document, showing average reading time and key points. And this is awesome for when we're collaborating. So if, like John mentioned, if I go back on Monday and a lot of stuff has changed, maybe this average reading time jumps up quite a bit, I know that a lot of new content has been added. Additionally, I can scroll to get viewer information, knowing that my peers, such as Emily and Deborah, have been checking this out, as well as a guest user, so it might be an anonymous vendor, not anonymous vendor, an anonymous email that a vendor is using. I can easily get rich information and insights and jump off to quick actions such as share and opening the details pane. I'm super excited too. So this helps me work more efficiently because I don't have to wait for a file to open. I can quickly triage documents, find out if I have time to read them before my next meeting. I don't have to hunt around to find out who's been interacting with it. So if it's a file I'm unfamiliar with, it really helps me prioritize what I should do next. But if it's my own file, I can see what kind of traction it's been making in my org. So with that, you've now learned how to leverage intelligent cloud capabilities to be more efficient and productive. So, clicker struggles. As a quick recap, let's go through what we just learned. Catherine walked us through 2 habits for digitizing your life and taking advantage of anywhere access with known folder move and files on demand. She also talked us through staying productive on the go with the mobile app, which has been really helpful throughout Ignite. John then demoed staying productive on the browser. If that's your preferred way of working, you can easily do that with OneDrive and Office.com. And using comments and recent changes to collaborate more effectively and stay up to date. He then walked through how you can access all your content with OneDrive as the starting point, with shared libraries included in the OneDrive navigation. And then I just walked through how intelligence makes your life easier, like with features like sharing from PowerPoint, accessing file recommendations, link sharing receipts, as well as the file card. So with that, you and your users are now ready to start being happy and productive OneDrive users. And thank you guys so much for coming. Last day of Ignite. Woo! Oh yeah, evaluate our session, please, so we can be more relevant and our sessions can get better over time. Thanks.